Hello everyone and welcome to this art advice video. Today I want to talk about how to price your artwork. I thought this would be interesting and I sometimes get questions from my artist friends and also just artists who just started their art career, and they're often wondering about how to price their artworks and how this works at all. And it is not so difficult to price them, but you have to keep a lot of things in mind to make it properly and to make it work, because at the end of the day, all artists want, or when I speak from my perspective, I want that my art sells and I want that people are happy with it and don't have the feeling that they have paid too much. And on the other side, I don't want to price my artworks too low so that I don't feel comfortable to sell them at this price range. So when I started my art career, I started in a gallery that was a rather, I wouldn't say very expensive gallery, but definitely a higher priced gallery than the smaller galleries in the new contemporary or pop surrealism or lowbrow art scene. So you could get a small, I would say maybe, the prices would probably start at 600 euros and they go up to probably 20,000 euros. So, and the average price for a painting is between 1,000 and 3,000 euros. And so I started with the regular technique or the regular way how I price the artworks. And this is that you have a starting factor which increases after your solo show, and then your prices go up every solo show or just over time. And this starting factor is with young artists maybe 10 or 8, and it can rise to incredibly heights, and the factor is used to calculate the price. So for example, if you have 20 centimeter and an artwork with a length and the height of 20 centimeters, 7.8 inches, you just add those two numbers, 20 plus 20, and you have 40. And then you just multiply it with your factor, which is in my case 12, and the price would then be 480 euros. So you can do that with all your artworks, and this is a proven technique to get all the same prices for all your sizes. So this is very good if you have no idea how to calculate them and you're always on the safe side. And many artists use that to just start and get a rough idea how to price them. But what I do is that I know that some of my galleries, which whom I absolutely love to work with, they have a specific price range. So before I work with a new gallery, I ask them, which price range are you normally selling for? And if this is a smaller gallery and they're usually selling maybe pieces for up to 500 euros or dollars, then I would be very limited and I could only paint very small works. So what I do is that I just adapt some of my artworks. I might not, for example, add a frame to the work because the frame is an extra cost. Or I just make a more study-like work where there's not so much detail. And on the other hand, if I have a work that goes in a high-priced gallery, just before I start the work, I know this will be a very good and a very detailed work, and it will be some of my masterpieces, for example. Then I would price this work a little bit higher because the gallery has the customers on the other hand, and on the one hand, and on the other hand, when it is an important gallery to me, I just want to make an important and very special work, and this qualifies for me to just raise the price a little bit. And so I'm adapting my prices for even if sizes of artworks are the same. But it's not like the one piece is $1,000 more or less. Sometimes it's maybe $200 or $100 more or less. depending on how much more detailed one piece or the other piece is. And another thing is that I also paint in 2 different mediums. I have watercolor pieces and I have oil paintings. And I started my watercolor pieces in the beginning just because I love to paint with watercolor and just want to draw more, because I didn't draw for a long time. I just painted. And then I thought I would just try to sell them in galleries and see if they find customers. And with my watercolor pieces, I wanted to have an option to just have a series of artworks that is lower priced than my oil paintings, because they can be done in a quicker time than oil paintings, but it doesn't have to be, so you can spend as much time with a watercolor piece and with the oil painting. This was just my decision that I wanted to have my watercolor pieces a little bit more affordable than my oil paintings, because there are so many people that just like to buy art but they can't afford it, and I just want to have everyone can afford my art, because I just don't like the idea that art is so incredibly expensive, and I just want to make it affordable for everyone. So I just have my watercolor pieces, which are in the same size than my oil painting pieces, for example 20 centimeters, but they are a little bit more affordable. And all this might help you to see that the prices are completely yours to choose. So you can make your own decisions which series is maybe of more affordable or more expensive than the other one. You might have drawings that are more affordable, or you might have drawings that are so detailed that are even more expensive than your oil paintings. It really depends on what you are comfortable with. So when you are a beginning artist and you have maybe your first gallery shows, I would say that you first ask the gallery which price range they normally sell for. Some galleries are even selling art for under $100, and for me that wouldn't be profitable to work with, because I could sell pieces for that price myself. So, but when there are galleries that sell maybe pieces for a couple of $100, I would definitely say that anything you do with oils is always at least $300 worth, unless it is super tiny small, but maybe it is 7.8 inches a square. In a square format, it shouldn't be less than $300. I know this might sound very high and maybe snobby, but remember that oil paintings take a long time to finish. They have drying times, and unless you're not a super trained oil painter and you know how to paint an oil painting quick, it really takes time. And also the gallery commission. Most of the galleries have a gallery commission of 50% of your price. So when they sell your piece for $300, you only get $150. So this would be the absolute border for me. I wouldn't sell anything under that, because it's just not enough to pay the bills unless you paint like a machine and just make, I don't know, 20 of those pieces a month and they all sell. So that is my opinion about this topic, and I've painted and sold in galleries I think for 10 years now, and I just feel comfortable to have my prices in an affordable area too, maybe for very, very large pieces that are maybe 100 or 200 centimeters big. My prices can go up to $3,000, but this is really only for the large works, and I think this is totally acceptable and even affordable compared to prices on art fairs. But I really like to have my artworks affordable for everyone, and I hope this helped you, and just don't think that my opinion is like the only one, and there are so many different opinions on this topic. And when you have artists that are showing on art fairs, generally the prices are way, way higher than the prices I just talked about. They might start at $3,000 and they go to $500,000, and on the even more bigger art fairs, they are in the millions. So, but I would say that just 90% of the artists are not in this price range, and they just want to sell their work for reasonable prices. And if you have very large works, it is totally okay if you sell them for 5,000 euros or even more. And if you have very, very small works, I think a good price for a 7.8 inches work is up to $500 when you're starting out. And the longer you, or the more customers you and collectors you gain over the years, and maybe you just put more work in your pieces, you can raise the prices as well. But if you are like me and you know your customers personally, then you might think about it, because why are you raising the prices? Just to make more money, or maybe because you just put more work in it? So just think about it. And also, if you have too high prices with your works and you raise them too quickly, customers might not be able to afford them anymore. And then you have a problem, because when you go back to lower prices, older collectors of you might be disappointed, or just wonder why they have why they bought your pieces for such an amount of for this price, and now they are lower. So you don't want to confuse your collectors. And speaking of prices, I recently decided to make a special offer for my $95 patrons, where they get a beautiful watercolor illustration, like this one you see in the video, for only $95, and a print, a fine art print, and 3 art surprises. So this is one of my most affordable options, and my watercolor pieces are up to $450 in price. So this is a really special offer, and I have only 5 spots left every month. And the only thing is that you just don't know what you get. So I'm making a free watercolor original every month, but you can't choose like you are in a gallery or on a shop. So every of those watercolor pieces are made with my love, and I put my heart into it, and they are always beautiful women, but it's always a surprise. So, and the pledge is monthly. You can definitely unsubscribe or just unpledge when you like. So if you want to have an artwork for me for the best price, then the $95 pledge reward tier on my Patreon page is your way to go. And I hope this video helped you, and if you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And if you like to see painting tutorials from me, please check out my Patreon page at the $5 reward tier. You get an exclusive painting tutorial every week, and you can vote on which topic you're interested in. I hope you have a wonderful painting day, and I see you in the next video. Bye bye!